They canceled Krypton. And the thing is, I know a lot of people are, trying to come up with defenses, for the cancellation. But here's the thing about it: when Sci-Fi changed its name from Sci-Fi to Sci-Fi, by the way, that's a Big Bang Theory joke, if you don't know, it sucked. I mean, they gave Ghost Hunters a longer season run, a longer time to run on the show network than Krypton. And I know it's cheap to make, a ghost show than Krypton, because Krypton actually has more pride in their show than instead of hearing, what was that? Did you hear that? Shh. Hello? Then a fucking amazing show about Kryptonian heritage and history. I know I really wanted to just vent and rant about that, but it's just annoying hearing the, shows being canceled and going away and stuff. But it's just, it aggravates me that, you have, you have a good amount of good shows. You have, like Comic Book Men was one show I enjoyed, and it got canceled, and, and you have more Walking Dead shows coming up. And you got a Walking Dead film, by the way. I did not even know that. They're doing a Walking Dead film. They were supposed to have Rick return. But no one doesn't know about Carl. Carl. Coming back. I'm happy that they're doing, Walking Dead film. But I hope they bring back Carl. Just for that amusement. It's fun. I know a lot of people probably annoyed by now how I make fun of the way Rick says Carl, and people are like, he's British, leave him alone. But, following departures of Andrew Lincoln and Rick Grimes during Season 9, Chief Content Officer Scott Gimple announced the create 3 AMC original films. I wonder what the other 2 are going to be. It's funny. Carl! I like the first 2 seasons of Walking Dead. I sort of jumped off after season 3. I don't know why. I just sort of lost interest in it. But if they're doing 3 AMC original films, I wonder if one of them's going to be Breaking Bad. It's a thought. Kirkman's involved, of course he is. It'll explore the events related to Rick's character in the future. Time out. Didn't he die in season 9? How are they exploring his future if he's dead? Is it like a Walking Dead alien invasion? Or something? I don't know. It's very weird how they're gonna do a and they're doing more Walking Dead shows. Why do they have to do more? Did I read the final Walking Dead issue? No. I never read the Walking Dead comics. It'd be kind of weird, like, to read the final issue and all of a sudden you have to, like, turn around and you have to, like, start over, read from the beginning to the end. But I did hear how it's really, really good, but I feel kind of bad that it ended, like, the way it did. I didn't know this one. Frank Davenport, the guy who developed the Walking Dead show, did uncredited writing works for The Huntsman, Winter's War. And he also did Godzilla, the 2014 version. Huntsman, Winter's War. Isn't that like the sequel to Snow White and the Huntsman? Or prequel, sequel, whatever? I never seen it, so... Anyway. There's other Batman films that were in the works for those who are still listening. There was like the 1983 Batman from Tom Mankiewicz, who was the screenwriter for 3 of the James Bond films, also having uncredited works for Superman 1 and 2. The story would fairly have a familiar origin to the Caped Crusader, including even having Robin involved, and clashes with the Joker. The script had amount of what Richard Donner called... Well, Donner pretty much said like it was like similar to Superman. And you're probably asking, what happened? Nothing happened. Warner Brothers just weren't ready to commit to a semi-series live-action Batman film. And my cat's running around like a crazy maniac. So, I like this one, Batman 3. Tim Burton's Batman film, for those who didn't know, he made Batman Returns. He was going to do a third Batman film. I'm happy that you're listening. Batman 3. This one was originally going to be called Batman Continues. I love that. Like, would you imagine like if Burton did that? It'd be like 3 different the Burton Batman films. Batman Returns, and Batman Continues. Here's what it was about. There were 3 different levels to the reality to support the project. However, depending on who you talk to, take it with a grain of salt. The legend have it that Burton was developing the concept for Batman called Batman Continues. The script would have featured the Dark Knight taking on the Riddler, the criminal mastermind who would have a shaved shape of a question mark on his head. Teaming up with Orphan Robin, the door was left open for Catwoman to make her return to surprise Batman. Marlon Wayans was approached and signed on to play Robin. Even did costume tests. Rene Russo was cast as Bruce Wayne's new love interest, Chase Meridian. What happened was, of course, Warner Brothers was appalled and dark by the ultra-dark melancholy of Batman Returns. Burton left the franchise shortly thereafter. Michael shortly thereafter by Michael Keaton, who was hired after Joel Schumacher was hired. After Schumacher said, "Does he always have to be dark?" And Keaton just walked out the door. I would have loved to see that interaction between Schumacher and Keaton, where Schumacher was like, "Does he always have to be dark?" And Keaton was just like looking around like, "Fuck this, I'm out." I would have loved to see that just for that. Schumacher was brought in. The Riddler and Robin, of course, ended up in Forever. Rene Russo was, however, deemed too old to play Val Kilmer's love interest, and she was replaced by Nicole Kidman. Wayans, however, was paid a lot of money and did not make an appearance in the film because they brought in Chris O'Donnell. Would you imagine that? Like, you're like Marlon Wayans and you're at home and you're getting paid for a film that you're not even working on. Like, for me, it would have been so weird. Even though, if I was in his position, I wouldn't want to play Robin. I'd be like, no. No, thank you. I'll stay at home. There was like a rumor, which turns out to be false, by the way. Christian Bale was considered to play Robin in Batman Forever. There was that rumor of it. It turned out to be false. Christian Bale said he would never play Robin. Which, I'm happy to hear that. In 1999, Alan Horn, the head of the studio, promised 5 tentpoles a year. Tentpoles, if you don't know, is a term that they used for... A tentpole is a tentpole of a program or a movie that supports the financial performance of the movie studio or television network. A tentpole movie may be expected to support the sales of tie-in merchandise. For example, the strategy of the popular television program or new upcoming or unknown program is the attempt to keep the audience, viewers watching after the flagship program is over. Prominent example is the long-running Star Trek series. The movie business also uses tentpoles and widely released intentional offerings of string of releases. For example, studios turn to profit in a short period of time, such as programming is often accompanied by larger budgets or heavily promotions. Tentpole movie, for example, is a movie expected to support a wide range of actual tie-in products such as toys and video games. So, there you go, you learned something on the show. And one of those was going to be the Superman Batman franchises as the tentpoles. Wolfgang Peterson, who's direct to Superman Flyby, another film that we're going to be talking about later on this podcast shows. Future episode, by the way, is what I meant to say. Andrew Kevin Walker. Anyone with that name I would hire to do a film. Pitched the idea of doing a Batman vs. Superman with as director Wolfgang Peterson put Superman on hold to do Andrew Kevin Walker's Batman vs. Superman. I'm serious. Anyone with that kind of name, I would fucking hire to do a film. Who's writing your film? Andrew Kevin Walker, bitch. That's how I would say it. Like, that's who I would hire to write a film, just with that name alone. I mean, for example, he wrote Sleepy Hollow. He wrote Sleepy Hollow 7. Yeah, he wrote 7. He wrote 7. That is amazing. But that, with that alone, you should hire him to write something. I would hire him to write Batman. I mean, the guy who wrote 7 and was involved with Fight Club, hire that dude.